Okay.
Hey, should we do karaoke? With a microphone in my hand, I feel like I should just start singing.
Just a small town girl.
What would be your karaoke song of choice? Do you have one?
I have a Spotify playlist that I make for myself.
Oh, I think we've talked about this before, but
my go-to one would be Feeling Good by Buble.
Oh, that's a good one. No pun intended.
What about you?
I've never done karaoke like in public.
Really?
I do it at home, like for funsies, obviously. But that is my birthday wish this year, is to go to a Koreatown and go do karaoke.
Yeah.
So I probably should figure out my list. I think I would say, when I was a kid, I had a karaoke machine and my go-to choice was Where's the Love? Black Eyed Peas.
That's good.
With the rap.
That would be like because you also have to choose ones that when you're at the bar, because other people have to listen to this. So you want to make sure it's a song that's like a crowd fave. That's a good one.
Thank you. I had another one just that came and went out of my head just now.
See, that's why you got to make a playlist.
When you remember,
Spotify.
just start singing it.
Yeah, I will. I'll just start karaoke when I think of it.
Please do.
Michaela, what about you?
Chumbawamba.
Oh my God. I get knocked down.
Yes. That's
Tum Thumbers.
Wow. Really diverse answers, friends. I love that.
One time I was at a show on the cruise the music cruise that I go on, and the show, the performers, it was a super group of the guy from Sugar Ray, Mark, what's his name?
I don't know, but I know
whatever his name is. Mark McGrath, is that his name? No, that's someone different.
Tim McGraw?
Sugar Ray, that guy. Kevin Hart. Kevin
Hart.
The lead singer from Better Than Ezra, Kevin something. And then Mark McGrath. I got it right.
Wow.
The guy from Better Than Ezra and the guy from Corey Hart or Kevin Hart, whatever his name is. I don't know, fucking whatever. They're like all three like 90s artists, but they're all irrelevant now. So they do like a super group thing where they tour together and they sing like some of each other's songs, and it's cute.
Awesome.
And then they did a cover of Chumbawamba. You would have thought the whole boat was going to like tip over into the ocean,
really?
get knocked down and get back up again. I have a video of it because the second time we saw them, I was prepared. So I took the video of the crowd like going off. There is no crowd pleaser like that song.
Dude.
Maybe Don't Stop Believing. But other than that, like it's that song.
Hell yeah.
That's really funny.
Anyway, what a cool cold open by me.
I love that. I love that. Good job.
No,
Good job, you.
we're going rogue because we're going one take on today's pod because it's time for a big announcement.
A big announcement and a big moment in our lives, to be quite honest with
It's
you.
a milestone. We're celebrating a milestone, a collective milestone as a team. And maybe not even, it's a milestone, but it's also like I feel like we're going to be like, remember when?
It's a BFD.
BFD. I love that. Who's going to say it? Not me. I'm not doing it. Should we drum roll?
We got nominated for a Webby Award.
Cue everyone being like, that's awesome. What's a Webby? You don't understand. I think short of I would say that industry wise, as social media managers, this is the highest honor that we could pursue in terms of awards.
Like dead ass, like for our industry. And
yes, because not only, so the Webbies are, they honor all things like on the internet, and they're a historic kind of organization. They've been around for a long time. And they honor like every level of internet success. So like on the nominee, like the categories are limitless, and on the nominees this year are huge names: Harry Styles, Rihanna, like they're being nominated
NASA.
for their digital work, basically work online campaigns that they and their team have done. So you're talking like top dogs of like literally like the most famous names in the world, and then all the way down to like us. Like we have just as much ability to be nominated and submit for awards in different categories for work that we do.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a huge deal, because it's not like it's just niche to like our industry and like nobody else knows it. Like it's very prestigious.
Yes.
And I don't say that to be like, look at us. I just say that to say like, if we were going to do anything, it made sense that we sought out winning or at least being considered for an award from this organization. And it is happening. We are fully nominees, and that is the coolest shit in the whole world.
I like couldn't believe it. We got the email early Tuesday morning. I mean, like 8 o'clock. I think it was the first thing I looked at, and I FaceTime Paige right away, unconsensually. And
I was about to call you because it was really early, but
I could not believe my eyeballs. because and this whole episode, we're going to kind of explain why this is such a big deal.
Yeah, you're
Not
like,
to
why is
just
this
toot
an
our own
episode?
horn, but like, I think to quite frankly explain the magnitude of this. I mean, we've been sharing it on our socials, but I said earlier on this week, like I almost don't know how to share this on my social because I know that my network isn't going to understand the magnitude of this.
Right.
And I just want so we're going to kind of walk through like how we got here and why this is such a big deal. Because when you look at the other brands we're up against, they're not only are they huge, but help me out here. What am I trying to say? Like to be recognized at this level,
It's
at the
a-
little
yes.
underdogs we are, is wild.
And I want to pull back the curtain a little on why it's important that we're being acknowledged at this level. Like, why would we bother to submit?
Yeah.
Why does an award like this, like, what is the social credit that it gets us? Like, no pun intended, stuff like that. Because I feel like people don't talk about this. And there also is like a lot of like nonsensical awards out there in the business world that are like pay to play, and you
Yes.
simply like buy your way onto the
Yes.
list, and then people use those awards to leverage themselves similarly to how we are looking to leverage our Webby nomination.
Yeah.
But ours is different because like there's a distinction between when you're someone who like paid to play on a list and someone who's being like a team that's actually being honored at by a panel of esteemed judges against like criteria and
Right.
peers in your industry. And it matters. And I think it's worth talking about because I feel like no one ever does. And everyone's always just like, oh, they want to know, like, you know, like no one talks about that part of it.
Right.
And it's interesting. And I think we want to talk about too, like what it's like to play in the big dog league as a teeny tiny shop, because frankly, we have no business being on that list. I mean, we do, but like when you look at like revenue, we're not in the same tier, but we're there, and that's what matters. So
let's start and say what category we won for.
let's rewind. We didn't submit. This award is not for Kylie Social, just us, right? Like the award is for our agency's work for a client. So we submitted in a category. There's a bunch of like high level buckets for these categories of awards. One of them is social as a category. And
Which, that's where we belong.
within the social category, there's another subcategory called social video. So video created natively for social media.
Mhm.
And then another subcategory under that is the like which we are entered into is how to explainer and DIY.
Yep.
So when we were looking at submitting for the Webbies, we looked at all of the available categories to try and determine where do we have work that would actually have a chance at winning based on like what we know we did over the last year.
Yeah.
And what performed, where our biggest successes were, right? So we submitted in that category on behalf of our client, Annie Elliott Design. And we've talked about her before on this podcast. She's been our like TikTok superstar.
Yeah.
Which we can get into that, but so of all the categories, I think that's the one we landed on. We were like, you know what? It makes sense that we submit Annie's TikTok growth in the how to explainer and DIY categories, because what we were submitting there is basically saying we built her presence on TikTok specifically to educate her audience, which is this explainer how to content. And we did it through these kind of categorical types of content, video, like the video series that we make for her. And this is the success that we saw out of it and why she's had this sort of major growth and how she's compelling audiences and what it means for her as a business, because that reflects on us. You know, what does it matter that we've built her a presence on TikTok? Well, it matters because she's writing books and she's getting TV show offers. So we like showing all that whole sort of narrative and story. That was our submission because we knew, well, I don't want to like just generalize, but I think we knew going into Webby submission season, our best shot at winning a Webby was Annie.
Yeah. She was the one like campaign that was ongoing that we had that was so full circle. There was kind of a beginning, middle, and end, even though it's still going. So that one made the most sense to help tell the story of, and it was the most clear to tell the story.
And it showcased our expertise, I think.
Yes.
Because this is the backstory, and I put this on my LinkedIn post about the Webby nom. The story with Annie is compelling because when we started her on TikTok, it was still a time when it wasn't super common for brands or organizations to be like making content on TikTok. It definitely had started, and there was already like, I think at that point Duolingo was already successful and stuff, right? Like we had like examples to look to be like, well, that's a great way to use TikTok as a business versus just as a creator.
Yep.
So it was early days, and we also had never done a TikTok strategy for a client before. So when we pitched Annie on the idea, we were going out on a limb.
Yep.
I remember talking about that before because we did our typical process with her, and we were like, oh my God, she's got such a strong personality.
Yeah.
She should be on video. Do you think we should suggest that she join TikTok?
Mhm.
And her audience is older, like
More like
more established, not
yeah.
children, right? It's got to
Right.
say someone who can.
she designs high-end houses, like
Yeah.
very high-end projects for interior design. So people that can afford that is her clientele.
Yep.
So, she had concerns. She's like, my clients aren't there. And
Yeah,
also,
her first piece of feedback. That's not my audience on
let me
TikTok.
preface, she has 2 twin daughters who at the time were seniors in high school. And she was like, if I get on this app, my daughters are going to have it out for me. So there's so many factors at play with her hesitation.
So we had to pony up as social experts and be like, no, we trust us. Give us your faith.
Right.
Let us do this. And I remember frankly, I was scared shitless launching her TikTok. I was horrified. I didn't say that at the time, obviously, but because we like just to zoom out, to get her to agree to the launch was one thing. We were like, yes, she said yes. And then we were like, oh, fuck. We have to go make some TikTok content.
Yeah. Because at this point, we only had still images from her, professional photos from her projects that we were using for content.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
And we didn't have any examples to show her. We were like, we had it in our brains that we wanted her to be kind of like a expert thought leader and kind of talking about. We started out with the idea that her house is so immaculately decorated that we could go into her house with her and take her around and have her speak to different kind of like topics and like just teaching moments, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are the different types of window treatments and what are they called and what is their purpose and why might you use one instead of another? How do you mix various patterns together? Like really tactical stuff. But even though we had like a plan of content we needed to create, like I remember it vivid as day. We had to all get on the train. We schlepped down to DC. We showed up at her house. Ding dong. First time we ever met in person. Also, it was in the pandemic, masked up.
That's right.
And we show up and we're like, okay, we're going to mic you up and we're going to start filming you. This is a woman who had not been on camera up to that point.
Yeah.
This is funny because Michaela, you weren't there.
I was not there, so I'm like enjoying
all...
this whole like rundown. I didn't know
you
this.
even know all this?
No.
It was the first time we met Tilly. I have a picture of me like petting Tilly from that day, the dog. And so this was not only a first for her, it was a first for us. It was a first. We do TikToks all the time now. Like we do TikTok shoots constantly.
Like, actually, I think we just got hired by a client because we were referred to them as a TikTok expert.
Yeah. And like we have a process now. Like we know how to do this. We didn't have a process then. We were like, get on the train, show up, bring a shot list, ? Like
we barely even
ideas?
had equipment. Like, did we have mics that first day even? Or like a ring light or light or
lights? No. Mic, yes. I think we mic'd her.
That's so funny.
I think we had the road mic.
Oh, us.
It was like the first time we had to buy a mic probably to go down there. Slay. So I didn't mean to tell the whole origin story, but I think it's interesting.
Yeah. Also, let's give context. This was in 2021.
Early 2021, like January. May.
No, because we signed on, started doing her social in January. It took till May to convince her to start the TikTok.
Yeah.
We started it in May, and by the end of the summer, we already had 70,000 followers.
Right.
Because she started popping the fuck off.
So we went down there and that's the reason I was telling this story is because when I knew that we were going to like launch the TikTok, we had to go down and do this whole shoot. And it was this whole fucking thing. Like we had to like she had to let us into her house and like do all this shooting and stuff. And then we had to basically be like, so yeah, we're going to take this back and make TikTok content. And we hadn't done that either. So it was like, did we get what we need? Like, is it okay? Like we didn't know how to like know that in the moment. We were like, well, it looks good. Like, let's just see what we can turn it into.
Do you remember how many pieces of content we walked away with that day?
No.
40.
No way. Yeah. I was going to say 6. 40.
Because remember we did long like throughs and we pumped them down. Then we had her do some trends. And then because then we went back and we never did that many again. Because then we went back and were more strategic about it and like had more like longer series. But we walked with 40 pieces of content that day.
Honestly, iconic.
I know.
I mean, we were probably there like 5 hours, but so anyway, I'm interested. Do you remember how you were feeling around the launch? Because that was like a whole stressful thing. And then as we were going to post the content, it was like, this is fucking, it's now or never. Like,
well, because then it's like when it came to the posting, it's like, oh shit, like we just posted one cover photo. Now we got to use that same cover for all of them.
Yeah, we were like setting precedent.
Like, just stuff that we actually hadn't thought about yet as a strategy team because it was our first rodeo with it.
I remember when we started posting, I was like, well, this is horrifying to me because we just made such a fucking stink about going down there. Like, I mean, we had to
do it again.
and we have to keep it going and we have to like be strategic now. It's not that we weren't doing those things. It's just that when it's the first time, you're like, I know this, I have a gut feeling. But I do remember that too. I had a huge gut feeling that it was going to work out.
Yeah.
If I didn't have that feeling, I would have called us off of it because it was a risk.
And I'll say for 2 reasons why. One, her personality, there was just something about her energy that I was like, this is going to play very well.
Mhm.
And 2, straight up, the trust she was putting in us. Like that first day we went down there and I hit record and saw like what she was willing to give us without even asking too many questions. I was like, whoa, this is going to be like, that's the key to this, is letting the experts do what they're doing and like gifting them your brand and being like, please do well with my image,
Yep.
on this big platform.
Yep.
But keep going.
No, it's also, sorry, I've been drinking my Red Bull right into the microphone. That's disgusting. So I'd like to apologize. It's like ASMR, but
I do the smell of these things.
it's horrible. Yeah, the mics.
What's your
By the
mic
way,
smell
the
like
mics-
today?
Body odor.
Mine's like stale Listerine, like the brown kind.
I don't have a trustworthy nose. I don't really smell anything.
Yeah, mine's definitely giving body odor.
You have a scentless one. It's like shishito peppers, but backwards.
Do you want to smell mine?
Ooh, that's like theater makeup. That's what I'm getting. Like a bit. What was that? Not Bill Nye. There was something theater makeup brand that they would use on our faces, and that's what that smells like.
Nasty. I'm not a fan of this smell.
This theater makeup was always used for years on multiple children's.
So
faces.
true. So true. They're not
That's why
buying
it smelled
new.
bad.
It's
Yeah.
not hygienic. Anyway, Annie.
Topics.
So we launched the TikTok and we were scared. And guess what? Eventually it took off. Skip ahead a bunch of time into the future. There were various moments of her account like having blips of success. And then we found major success with the Shop With Me series, which we have talked about on this podcast before, because that is when we had the multi-million view videos for the first time with this client and this account.
And at this point, Michaela is now on the account.
Yes, Michaela is single-handedly essentially responsible for shepherding us into the new era of growth on the Annie Elliott account.
She has introduced Mother Era.
She has. And Mother Era is real because that's how people see and feel about Annie now.
They called her that, not us.
So,
They being TikTokers.
yes, the world of TikTok. So, for me, that is why when we were scrolling through the Webby nominations and I saw how to explain our DIY, I thought that's the angle, because the reason that those videos are so successful is because they are super practical in nature. Like, she's in real environments where you also can go and using familiar visuals, like pieces of furniture that you probably see when you walk through Home Goods or you see in Target or you see in IKEA, and giving you the tools you need to know how she would make decisions around purchasing those things, or why, or how to look for things, or what not to look for, or even just when it's not tactical advice for everybody, it's showing her, her explaining her point of view.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the method, man. We go in on the how to, because she's basically teaching people how to make interior design accessible. And that is the name of our submission. That's what we ended up going forward with. Now, building a submission for an award, holy brain exercise. That was hard. Do you remember doing that? We did it on our offsite in December. And it was like a 3-hour, everybody was in the weeds on it. So the Webbies are interesting. Also, can I just say something? We forgot to mention who we're up against in the category.
Oh,
boy. We're not doing
Who is
good
it?
at telling
Ring them
this
off.
story. Variety Magazine, Southern Living Magazine, Levi's, and Etsy, and us. Vibes. So big dogs with big email lists and big populations, whatever. Oh, we should also say
Big fucking budgets.
Yeah.
We had shoestring budget. Not shoestring, but yeah, shoestring.
How much was it to submit an award to the Webbies?
$745.
$745 for one submission. That was not just like a blink of an eye for a small
That's not
agency
free, to
like
be
us.
clear.
And like, it was worth it, obviously. But if we would not have gotten nominated, which we fully went into this expecting, like,
That could have been an L.
our goal was, we're going to submit to this because we've never submitted to awards before as an agency, and we would like to plant the seed for this to happen in the future. So we committed to the cost, thinking this will be good investment. And then it led to this. But I say all that to say, like, it's not cheap to do this stuff.
No.
So when you see brands submitting like 20 different campaigns and getting selected for like 7 of them, it's like, you literally just spent a couple bands on that, my friend.
Just for the
Right,
shot,
right.
just for the chance.
Yeah.
wow.
So yeah, here we are, underdog, 100% the underdog. there are two ways that we could possibly win. There's 5 nominees in every category. One award is the Webby Award for that category, which is voted on by a panel of judges by the Academy. And I bring that up because when we were submitting, I read every fucking available article on that website about the judging criteria for these awards. Because my thought was, if they're going to judge against a certain criteria, then we are going to submit in the format that answers those questions. And that's what we did. So part of the criteria for submission, and the other way to win is people's choice. So there's an open voting period happening right now through April 15th, 20th. And on the 25th, the winners are announced. So if you're listening to this before April 20th and you didn't vote for Annie Elliott Design in the Webbies for the category of social video, DIY explainer, and how to, which is linked in the show notes, I will, period. I'll come find you because I'll know if you didn't vote. And we need all the votes you can get because, as Rhea was just saying, big budgets, big lists, our competitors have like email lists to send this shit to. It's like us and Annie, who is amazing, but a small business. Like we are fully like we're underdogs here all the way. So we want to win.
Can I also say we are in second place right now, which is amazing. I mean, we got to get the first, but I think that's amazing.
Who's in first? Etsy?
Etsy is in first. Yeah.
Fuck you,
What's
Etsy.
the percentage of votes?
We are at 25%.
That's more than this morning.
Their percentage is 34%.
Okay, so we got to close the gap is basically what has to happen here. So here's the tea. The judging criteria basically told us how we should make our submission. And the Webbies specifically said, you should create a website for your submission.
We did that.
So we did that.
We'll link it in the show notes if you would like to see the website that we submitted with.
I'm really proud of it because
Me
it's like
too.
the most sick case study I've ever seen, because we explained the premise, who Annie is, why we were sort of gave an overview video, like why she should be considered, which I think that video was sick. Rhea made that. Rhea did. Okay. I said, we need an overview video that shows like the different kinds of content that she does. And also maybe starts with some of like the top comments that we see people sharing to her on her page, which indicate that she's a great teacher. Like, oh, I learned so much from you, whatever. We had this like long list of them that we saved. I said like 4 words to Rhea about this video, and like in 48 seconds, she was like, here you go, it's done. And it's sexy, so you should watch it. Same too with Michaela. And I'm like, okay, we need to make a deck or a layout for the website. She's like, okay. 4 seconds later, done. Beyond words. So the deck outlines essentially all of her content series that fit into the DIY explainer category and the impact of, I sort of tease that, but we like talk about like, here's her metrics. Like, it obvious is that
how she grew fast.
It's obvious that audiences really learn a lot from her and they love her, whatever. I feel like we laid it out like really cleanly. It's not overwhelming. It's like super straightforward. It's got interactive media, obviously, because this is a video category. We like included lots of video throughout. And then that was a submission, and that's what we put forward. I'm just gonna say it's right now. Is it jinxing it? I don't care. Okay, so you can see the submissions, right? I am not knocking the other ones in this category. Go off, do your thing. Some of these competitors in our category, the link to their submission is just a video on social. Like literally, it's the live TikTok, like the TikTok or the reel.
No explanation.
And so my thought is,
you do really want to win that bad?
and someone else did make a little deck, and so it's like that's cute, but like we followed all the rules
And like
to a T.
I don't want to diminish the work of the other people being submitted, because like I know that there's people. It's not just like Etsy.
Yeah,
there's people behind those. So like, and I'm sure that they, get your accolade. But if you don't care enough to win the award to go through the things to make you look the best, then like, I'm sorry, but as your competitor, you can eat my dust.
And do you know what I'll say to that? I think that's one of the difference makers. We're a small shop, and we just paid almost $1,000 to do that submission. There was no world in which we weren't putting forward our best foot. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
If we weren't going to do that, we wouldn't have submitted.
Yeah.
I would have called it off.
Absolutely.
And I was, that was the whole thing. Like, we didn't pay until we submitted. So if we just didn't get it together, because we did this, by the way, right before Christmas break, we went away we were like all off for a week for the holiday. And we were together in New York, like having a fun time. And we also had to like then sit down and do like this big brain activity, which was like, I remember feeling like,
you're like, why'd we do this?
Like, I know I'm not hungover, but like I could be from our rocky boat ride to the Statue of Liberty and back. So like, it wasn't a small task at all to do this.
Yeah. Really in the weeds.
Yeah. And I remember thinking,
we cared about it.
I know. And I remember thinking like, it's a damn good thing I want to win this award, because otherwise I would be like, this is the last thing standing between me and Christmas break.
I know.
Like, it's got to go. We got to be done.
Yeah. So we cared a lot about it, and it really.
Blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
Fast forward,
we
we
got
fucking,
nominated.
we're nominated. Okay.
Also, I did not preface this. 14,000 submissions this year to the Webby Awards.
yeah.
14,000 submissions. And we got nominated top 5 in our category. That's insane.
So here's the thing. If we don't win anything, this is still a dub.
So true.
Here's the reason
Huge
why.
dub.
Number one, client's thrilled. Okay. First of all, she didn't have
Was
to
the
do
best phone
anything,
call
and
in the
she's
world.
getting like all this recognition. It was. We got to call her and tell her that she is nominated for a
She
Webby.
like was driving and was like, I just got off the wrong exit.
Yeah. She was like, "This is crazy," and she's getting ready to release a book. So this is like perfect runway for that. So like that alone is a W, because I just want her to know that we really appreciate the fact that we can work with her in this capacity. I'm proud of the work we do with her, and she deserves recognition because she's bad bitch. So like, go off. But as any good award can do, this is like a piece of social proof around why anybody should hire us to do any work, right? Do I think that you should have to rely on awards and accolades and testimonials and stuff to get business? No. If you do good work and you produce good work, I think that you will always be able to find clients and stuff. Do I know that there will be a Webby Award nominee badge all over our website between now and the next year? There's a Webby's Awards next year? Yeah, because that is, first of all, that's what the $700 got us. You know what I mean? That we paid and we were nominated. So now we get to brag about it. Second of all, I am proud to be on that list. And so this is the difference between like a pay to play and like a, paying a substantial amount of money to submit to a real kind of awards opportunity for me. I will now proudly talk about this forever, first of all, and even no matter what the outcome, we'll put it all over our socials, all over our website. And I'm going to do that because I know the prestige that is attached to the Webby Awards.
Yes.
And I think even if you don't know the Webbies entirely, there's some name recognition. I think people know that it's like legitimate, and they stream the ceremony every year, and big celebrities are always involved. So it's great. But also it's not, no dig here, I'm not even going to name a real organization, but it's not like social media expert.com's People's Choice Award where, we just paid $50 and got a badge or whatever.
Yeah,
like it's not that.
Right. This is like truly up in the big dogs for our industry. I mean,
it is. I mean, like a lot of my favorite creators have won Webbies in the past. The Webbies is very iconic. They have a 5-word limit on their acceptance speeches for the ceremony.
Do you know what I was thinking of? What ours could be around?
Let's have it.
Something about social first video being like the key, because our whole thing is like video and TikTok. Or I was also thinking the other thing, because it's been a theme for us, is like hiring the experts and staying in your lane. Like let the experts shine. So something along those
Love
two,
that.
like short form video or experts. I feel like I was playing with ChatGPT the other day, prepping for our speech acceptance.
So sick. So speaking of which, okay, like that's like, because I'll also say something. One time in my past life, I was nominated, I think everybody won. This is why I'm telling this story.
Probably just you. Let's keep it.
No, I mean, there was a
yourself
list of
quickly.
120 people that got this distinction. 30 under 30. It was like a PRSA award or something like that. I think though that they gave it to everyone who submitted because it was another one of those very expensive situations, and there was no voting or anything. Maybe I'm wrong, but I was proud to receive that distinction. I still think I'm 30 under 30 quality.
Sure.
However, I posted about it when it happened, and then I didn't it's not like I tout it anymore because it's like it just isn't the same caliber,
Well,
it's not this.
Recognizing our work as a team. Like we show up every single fucking day and do this stuff together. And some days it's exhausting. So like, not to say you as a person don't show up every day. So like winning 30 under 30 wasn't any less empowering, but this is like there's like so much, because it's like when we're posting about this, it doesn't feel weird to be like, we won this, because it's actually I'm proud of y'all. And like,
I was going to say that was my biggest feeling.
Such a circle loop here of pride with all of us. It's not just one person that made this happen, which is I think why it's so cool to see it get nominated, especially because we knew from the beginning this account, like we knew that this was going to work, whether it was.
Yeah, I really had that gut belief. I would have told us not to do, I would have stopped us from doing this if I didn't think that. Yeah. Because when we started working with Annie, we were very early on. I mean, you were not full-time. You were freelancing.
I had to take off work at my other full-time job to go see her the first time.
It was one of my first cold clients. Like I didn't really know anyone that knew her. It was a referral from a fantastic partner. So anyway, all that to say, it would have been a risk to fuck that up, but I just knew in my gut that we were not going to fuck that up.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that we did it, because now it is a huge, huge piece of our business, and it would not have been possible without, like, whether or not her account was successful, we needed somebody to trust us to do that dry run on this new like space. And she was the perfect person. We could have never asked for someone better to do that, I think, because she trusts our expertise. She's always down to hear us out on ideas, and she brings her A game when we create this content. Like she gives it her all, and she's thinking about it too when we're not shooting and stuff, and she cares about the audience that she's cultivated there. And all of those things, regardless of the numbers and stats on her accounts, they're what make me feel now like we had the ground to stand on to be like, okay, this is a thing that we can grow and like learn how to do more and better and turnkey and build it as a process and bring it to our other clients. And it's like, all you need is that one person to let you do that, you know, in anything in life, to be, to give you the runway and the launch pad.
I was going to say that.
And she did that for us, whether she knew that she was doing it or not. And so I think that's another like underlying part of why I'm so proud of this award, because it represents to me a huge like shift in the way that we did business and the things that we're capable of and what we know that we can do now because we've seen it happen. Like it gives you a confidence that you can't get until you like see stuff come to fruition. Cause now I don't hesitate going into rooms to being like, yeah, my team can do this.
Yeah.
And I say that because like, it's important for you all to know, I do not edit the TikToks ever. I have done like one or two. I mean, Annie's, I think I did do like one of the first ones, maybe two, because I used to get in trouble for where I would put the text on screen. True or false? Horrible at it. Still
have troubles with that.
Because okay, I'm going to show you sometime. My app puts things, it moves them.
Okay.
Put some, now I know how to double check it, but before I wasn't double checking it. I'm a boomer, you guys. I don't do this. If there's a TikTok that we've posted, surely I did not edit it. So anyway, that's why I'm especially proud too, because like, this ain't me. I'm just watching from above saying that looks good.
We all have our own roles that
we
could not have gotten here without each and every one of our individual roles and some roles along the way of people that helped us.
So true. I don't want to glaze over that.
Yeah. There's lots of hands.
Lots and lots of people who were along the journey with us.
Yes. And I just want to say this is also a testament. I know I say this a lot, but you created this company out of the means of like wanting to do things differently, like not wanting to necessarily go against the grain, but like just not needing to do things in the way that people do them just because it's tradition or just because it's the way things are done. And so in that way, we've been able to like shake loose the bullshit and just do our jobs and do the things that make us feel good and the things we're good at. And like at the end of the day, it's just very validating to be recognized in this way, because we did not think this was going to happen for many reasons. And it just goes to show, like, for you as a leader, when you let a team like follow the gut, be creative, and not necessarily do things because they make sense, but because we believe in them, it can bring you to places like this, and it kind of makes anything possible. That's all I have to say. I feel really empowered, and I'm just so proud of this team. I didn't know this was possible prior to this happening.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just brought us into this new space of like, what the fuck can we do next if we can do this? Like,
right.
I have just like this new, like a kid coming out of the train to New York City for the first time, you know, from the Midwest.
Like Annie, $2.
Truly. Like I just
or whatever.
feel like that's
Real
a
quick,
great,
Yeah. This kid, sorry,
Go ahead.
but
No,
I saw a TikTok yesterday and it like relates to this, but this guy was like, you know what I've been really realizing is that we as humans don't really test our free will and just the things that we could do that like people don't even think about. He was like, the other day I saw an empty gym, no worker. I let myself in and I had a full workout. I do not have a membership. But he was basically saying like, you can really get away with so much more than you think, and like just can even conceptualize. So like just start giving things
that's
a
a
try.
great point.
Quit limiting yourself. Break into gyms and nominate yourself for Webbies. It doesn't matter.
This is our first step into being EGOT winners.
Yes. I would love to be.
So
Is the W for the Webbies?
Yeah.
EGOT. I like that. Next up,
one
Emmys.
step closer than any of you bitches. I'm just kidding.
No,
I just
so
needed
true.
that.
I mean, where's your Webby?
I mean,
I'm
Were you nominated for Webby ever? Because I don't think so.
I think I'm ready to bully people about this.
I already have been bullying people. I had to take a moment to be like, How do people perceive me posting this right now? Does it look like I'm being stuck up? Because my first post did say,
Fuck no.
force your friends to vote, threaten them if you have to.
Mine did too.
But I'm always like,
I thought you guys took the cool route because mine was like, this is a testament to the hard work.
No, yours was
Mine
so
was
good.
like,
sweet.
is
After I
this
saw yours, I
corny?
questioned
Am I-
mine. I was like, should I be less
I
threatening?
was like, I feel like yours
Michaela,
are more
can you tell the
enticing.
story about your dad?
Oh my God, yeah. Okay, so my dad, I didn't even tell him. He saw my mom told him somehow, and he called me and he was like, "So I heard about the Webby," and I didn't even know he knew anything about the Webbies.
I mean,
And
who would think our parents
he did? And he was like, "Oh my God, like that's amazing! You should be so proud. I'm so proud of you guys." He was like, "There's only 3 of you there too." He was really just raving. He was like, "Wow,
Aw.
you guys are all under 30 and you got nominated for a Webby." It was beautiful, honestly.
30 under 30 for real.
For
Yeah.
real.
I don't want to drag
I don't
him right
even
now.
want to
I
right
don't wanna
either.
drag
We'll
him.
tell that story another day.
Yeah.
But I did think we were going to win 30 under 30 ever in our lives before ever winning this.
Me too. I thought that was the stepping stone to a Webby. Turns out you can just go to the Webby.
Turns out you can just go straight to the source.
Hell yeah.
So here's the thing, everyone. I tend to think we have a good shot at actually winning our category, period. I'm not afraid to say that.
I do too.
Based on our submission and because I'm a rubric follower, okay, and I followed the damn rubric.
I love the rules.
But we can ensure that we win if we people's choice, voice, choice, vote.
Get your vote, please.
So please, just fucking please vote.
So we're going
Oh
to
my
put the
God,
link.
it's once only. It's not
Just
once a
vote
day,
once.
just one time.
Once and done. So you do it, go knock on your neighbor's door, have them do it. But don't do it fraudulently because they'll catch you and we'll
Yeah,
get
get an email about
disqualified.
that today.
So please be, good about it.
But here's the thing:
support
if
us.
we win either of those awards, so it's 2 out of 5 chance. So if we win either of them, we get to go to the ceremony, which is in New York, and it's live streamed, and all the celebrities will be there.
and just like
and-
point blank,
I want to go.
I want to win.
Yeah, and you know what else? You get a really sick plaque, and I want that too.
I'm making a statement right now, and I'm going to cut this on social and cut to it when it happens. After we win a Webby, I'm getting it tattooed onto my body at the
Webby
actual
Award?
Webby Award because it'll
love
insinuate our very
that.
first Webby win, and I'm never going to forget this in my life. And I want it on my. It moves.
It does. It's like a
You
little.
shake it,
It's
it
like a
does
coil.
this.
It's very very cute.
Oh, I want one
Um,
so bad.
I can't wait to put it on my bookshelf next to my
I'm gonna tat it on my
diploma.
I'm gonna tat it like right here, something small. I can always see it where I see it when I type.
when you're
Mhm.
filming.
Or like right here, like a little Webby.
Yes, so when you're filming. Love that idea.
Getting
Okay,
added.
can't wait for our live getting tattooed podcast.
Oh my
where we
God.
celebrate our win.
You guys want to get it all together and we'll film?
I'm
Yeah.
so down.
Absolutely,
go.
yes. You heard it here first, folks. We're getting an
Episode 10 will be filmed in the Tat Studio.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll find out on April 25th. So cross your fingers and toes.
Before the next episode,
Yeah,
the next
we'll know.
episode, we'll know if we won or not. So
And look, if we don't win, it's not a big deal. But I want to win, so we're gonna win. So that's what it's like to win manifesting. I almost said win a Webby, to earn a Webby's nomination. Really proud of you both.
I'll let you know next time what it's like to win one.
Kick some ass, take some names, everybody out there. If you take anything away from this episode, it's that you need to keep a list of your karaoke songs in your phone, or you
Yeah.
won't know the answer to that question if someone asks you. And if you think you can't win an award, you're fucking wrong. So just submit it anyway. XOXO.